Podcast. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about what? Well, we talked yesterday about being laid off, and there is more in the news. Actually, this is quite interesting that more companies are doing it. It's the beginning of the year, and they are planning to cut down some of those jobs. So let's talk about endless possibilities and opportunities. That if you have a job or just lost your job but want to look for something new, opportunities are all around us. Let's get started. So, yes, being let go, fired, laid off, whatever you want to call it, leaving a job, it's never fun, especially when it is unplanned. But it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. I know, been there, done that. Okay, been through layoff that happened mass layoff from big corporations. So I have experienced this firsthand as well. I know what I'm talking about when we talk about fears because you don't know. It's unexpected. It's not something planned. They're not going to tell you 6 months ahead, oh, by the way, your number is up. So, but just letting you know in 6 months you'll be gone. That's not how it works. Now, we have to be open to new possibilities. I know the first thing we're thinking is, okay, how do I pay my mortgage or my rent, or my car payment, or whatever payment we've got? And you can ask yourself, okay, if I start to turn myself not, let my ego start to go first and go crazy, that is not the fun path we want. That, I totally agree with that. And sometimes it takes a little bit more time to quiet our mind and try to figure it out what's next. You have possibilities. You have possibilities to go back to school. You have possibilities to, during that period of transition, to really decide what you want to do. Do I want to stay in the same field that I am in? Do I want to take a new classes and learn new skill sets? Or like I strongly actually advise, it's becoming a temp. Do temporary jobs that will lead you to know the company better and open probably to a new appointment. Because if the people really like you, they will hire you. People, if they really want you and you do a good job, will hire you, even if they don't have an open position. I had jobs and I was working as a contractor. They opened the position for me. They did for it. So you have to keep in mind that even if you're leaving a job, you outgrown that job. It's time for you to do something different. So you have options. Again, you can go into school. You can go directly and look for temporary job, contractor jobs. It's not demeaning. It's better than nothing, quote unquote, because it really opens the door and get you going. You can also start your own business. So even if you have a job and you really not like what you're doing, but you have a passion, try to think if you can start as a side gig. I always tell all of my clients and everybody else's, actually anyone who wants to listen to me, that you start your own side job. You have a passion, live off your passion. It helps you. I can guarantee when you do this on the side, you do stuff on the side that really fulfilled you, your life gets better actually. Even when you go to work and you're not a huge fan of the work, your attitude, your mood change for the better because you're doing something you're passionate about it. I know it's scary. Oh my God, I want to write something. I want to do a podcast. I want to blah, 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 blah. I'm afraid to do it. Then take that step of instead than trying to say, oh, everybody's going to mock me, blah, blah, blah. Who cares if everybody else is? The people who mocks you actually are the people that are afraid to do it. Seriously, most people are afraid to be behind a microphone. Most people are afraid to use social media. I always said and will continue to say, if I did not have my own business, I will not be on social media because I am not interested to do it, but I'm doing it because I love to do what I'm doing. So I don't have to have my face plastered on Instagram. My pops are. Every day I do my word of the day, or most of every day. I do the word of the day. And guess what? The one you're going to see are the pops. That's what I love to do. That's the passion I have. You can read my blogs because I like to write and I write about life. I write about topics that are dear to my heart. Are the good things that I'm doing. So when you think about what we are and what will be in our lives, this is what we got to do. being empowered to do everything like that helps us. I remember when I was working in corporate and I was in downtown and I was talking to Igor was my boss at that time. And he was asking me, "Oh, so what are you going to do this weekend?" I said, "Well, let me think. The launch of the book." And his jaw dropped. He's like, "Yeah, the launch of the book and I collaborated with is coming next week. So this is exciting. And I'm writing my blogs and I'm doing my podcasting." His jaw drops like, "Oh boy." I said, "Yes, I have an entire life outside of here and I'm passionate about it. That's what I love to do." So, same to you. What is your deepest desires? And you know what? Screw everybody else's. Just do what inspires you to do. It's fascinating to do things and you love to do. I have a passion for, I like cooking, but I will not open a restaurant. Or if I open a restaurant, if I ever, which I won't, I can tell you that, people, so don't even be excited on this one. Open a restaurant, I will do the menu, and every day you will eat what I feel like cooking. Okay, it's not gonna be a menu where you got 25 entries, dessert, blah blah blah, and you pick and choose. No, it's gonna be one thing, and that will be it. That's how we're gonna roll. So that's the kind of things I like to do. Cooking. I like to draw. I like to do a lot of things that is complementary in my life. So if you think about that, then you can really be fulfilled. I will use the word fulfilled. So, opportunity, when you know you're going to be let go, is to understand, do I want to be my own boss and I want to create something for my own self? And I can work a time job in the same time. I will say, go for it, because it doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million within 2 days. Okay. It might take a little longer than that. So, it's best to have that side gig on you have it and you start to work at it and have something else to fulfill your needs, financial needs. Think this way. Think that every opportunity I had, that switch in a snap of a finger, gave me the possibilities to go to the next level. The universe will push us in a way that can be unpleasant at times. And I've told enough of those stories where, from losing the people you love unexpectedly, to lose your job, to lose your home, to have a 380 down on you, or 360. I like the 380. I like the 380 on this one. 360 on you. That's how transformation happen. You're directed in the right path. Now you have to have faith, you have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to continue to push yourself forward in a way that really embody what you want to do. So the life of 1,000, it's a life of transformation. It's a life of beauty. It's a life of everything you want. Now you have to make it happen. It is scary to be in the unknown. It is scary to do not know what's going to happen next, because we have a tendency to want to control every single aspect of our lives. Truth of the matter, we don't. Truth of the matter, when we start to put our nose into the details, this is where we screwed up our entire path. Make it harder than easier. It's learning to lean on the universe. It's learning to be inspired. It's learning to have faith in the power that is above us. It's being inspired to the deepest. It's really being present in our lives and enjoy what we do. So being able to really fulfill our lives, really fulfill everything we need. The life of 1,000, it's a life of transformation. This is where we are finding ourselves and be able to truly embrace who we truly are. So being able to be in a place where we can see the magic, where we can open ourselves to the next level. So that is where we are. And yes, when we're in the middle of transformation and change and shift, it is extremely uncomfortable. It's not like they give you roses, bonbons, champagne, and caviar and say, oh, enjoy the ride. You're in a first class. No, you're not in a first class. You're in a bumpy road because the unknown is there, because we don't know, because we're scared. So we have to release all of those energy and say, you know what, I have faith on what's going to happen. Everything will turn out the way it's supposed to be for my highest good and the highest good of everyone. That's all. When you keep these mantras, everything's transformed by magic. The life of 1,000, it's a life of transformation. This is what we are here. It is a university of life here. This is nothing else than a temporary time for us to earn our wings, quote unquote. Meaning, life forever here? No, that doesn't exist. If you really want it, good for you. I pass on this one. I rather go on the other side and be at peace on the other side. This is temporary. This is not our lives. This is the challenge. This is what I call hell. This is hell. This is our own free will with everybody else's free will and try to live our life in peaceful manners, which can be very, very hard when you're dealing with different people who are in a different level in their own journey. We are never going to be equal because people want equality. There is no equality in this world. None. And people want equality, and it's like, it's not going to happen, because if you want equality, that means we should be all born from the same mom and dad. We should have the same, everything should be exactly the same, which is not happening because you're all born with different parents, different level in their lives, banking account, status, whatever you want to call it. We all are different. This is our journey of growth. We are not at the same level. We are in a parallel journey, not the same one. So embracing who we truly are is really making our lives to the fullest. It's embracing who we are. It is being the most beautiful and powerful people when we go into all our challenging times. And it is challenging times for some people. Some others have it easy because they already did and learned their life lessons. Not everybody did. And not everybody has an easy journey. And that's okay. This is what we are born to be doing here. That helps us. Now, we can close those opportunities by bringing fears in our lives. And you know what? Uncertainty is something that is extremely uncomfortable. Being worried about your loved one, being worried about yourself, being worried about tomorrow. But tomorrow is tomorrow. It's not here and now. We can only handle what we have in front of us. Now, if you project yourself in the future, been there, done that, you go nowhere. Literally nowhere. Sad to say, but reality. It's a true reality. You go nowhere. So you have to embrace the differences. You have to embrace who we truly are. You have to embrace the differences that what comes and becomes in our lives. So to help each other, we have to learn to support each other. We have to learn to become whole again, which can be extremely difficult. But the life of 1,000 is a life of transformation. A life of 1,000 is a life of beauty. A life of 1,000 is a life of welcoming ourselves and not being afraid or worried of what tomorrow will be, even though we might be or feel challenged at times. So during those moments of transformation, think about the possibility you have and entertain the idea to do something new, to do something different in your life. You do not want to repeat the same thing because it will end up the same way. So having the opportunity, and I was looking at many years ago, unemployment, and they give you opportunities to do different things, not only to look at jobs and stuff like that, but also education, skill sets. So utilize what they have available, utilize the help. If it's not unemployment, there is other resources. Like here you have IOC, which is Interface Community. You have others. Look at other community that can help you by doing a little bit of research. What do you get? What can you have available for free to help you to move up, to learn something new? There is plenty. You can do internship. You can do apprenticeship. There is a lot of things you can do. So if you're passionate, and it doesn't matter how old you are, you could be in your 20s, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, doesn't matter. You can learn new skill sets if you want to. And those possibilities are out there. It requires a little bit more work, but it is so interesting and so challenging and so wonderful to learn something new because you challenge yourself, you challenge your brain. You're not into that boring mode where you do the same thing like a robot. You're not a robot anymore. You're waking up to what your callings are. And maybe it sounds a little crazy at the beginning. Maybe you'll be worried and somebody's going to mock you. Like I said earlier into the podcast, who gives a crap about people around you? I don't care if my mates say, oh, you're crazy to do this. Well, if I feel inspired to do it, I will do it. I would rather follow my life purpose than listening to somebody who's going to try to block me to do it. Oh, yeah, I said that way before to somebody else's before, and he's an ex. That's what I call an ex. If you don't support your mate, and okay, we're not talking to get plastic surgery, but we're talking about life. We're talking about life purpose. If somebody has a life purpose, a calling, you do not block that person. You support them along the way or help them as much as you can. Doesn't mean you're going to open your checkbook and say, okay, you do it for free. No, but you encourage them to do it. Let them go through it. I know some people will start to laugh and mock because they are afraid. They're afraid their mate's going to change. They're afraid that, oh my God, it shows she's or he is smarter than I am, or whatever it is that scares you. But here's the deal. I would rather set somebody free and let them find their true life purpose than engage somebody and put them miserable for the rest of their lives. That to me doesn't make any sense. So supporting each other is great. If your mate doesn't, it's because they're scared, because they're afraid. Because, oh my God, I have seen, and I told that story. I was at a meeting one day and we were doing, what do you call it? A little game, quote unquote, called if money wasn't an issue, what would you like to do? So for me was, well, that's easy. I'm living in my own island. Amazon is delivering everything via airplane or whatever, or what do you call it, those drones. And what I'm doing is the bridge between different rescue groups here in the US and around the world, and Vet Without Frontiers and stuff like that. That's what I would do, okay? And enjoy my life in my island, happy skippy, okay? So there was a lady who was sitting next to me and she was asking what I was doing. And I said, well, I do podcasts, I do this, I do that, but I don't normally advertise. But she was asking, and I said, well, this is what I love to do. And she looked at me and she said, well, I would love to write novel, those sweetheart novels, blah, blah, blah. And I said, why don't you do it? I said, well, I'm afraid because, I would like to have a way to do it, but I'm afraid people around me is going to mock me. And I looked at her and I said, okay, one, people who mock you, okay, they will be scared because they don't know. Okay, two, you can create your own website with a different name, so you can use a different name, not yours, and start to publish. Until one day, if you're really making those books, then you can reveal who you are. I said a lot of people, author, have done that in the past. They have their own subnames that they're using. I forgot the word in English on this one, so I use subnames on this one. So yeah, don't say anything on this one. Emma's brain is a little fried. But use a different name. Why not? It doesn't mean you have to tell them. You're just enjoying to do it quietly. I said you can build, a website very quickly if you go on Square. I said mine are not built on Square because they are my own website. But you can very easily create a website and create your blogs and post every day. Nobody has to know who you are until you decide it. If you want to publish, be a published author, do the same thing. If you don't want to use your name, don't use your name. It's just fine. It's not a big deal. So it was very interesting to talk to her because she was so afraid what her husband will say, mock her, blah, blah. I'm like, you don't have to tell them anything at all. Keep it aside, do it on your own time, and you're just fine. You don't have to reveal that. So if you're passionate about writing, if you're passionate about do something, painting, whatever you need to do it on your own time. Don't put your name in there. Use another name, and that will be your artist name. Here we go. We're going to find your artist name and just publish, and you'll be fine. It is not a question of people mocking you. I don't care if people mock me. I can give a crap about that. I'm reaching the audience that needs to be reached. Okay? Not the people who mock. And the people who mock, they got nothing else better to do. So most of them are frustrated because they don't do their own thing. If everybody would mind, and that's what I love that sentence, mind their own business, the world will be at peace. But this is not the case. So you got the people who are easy to deal with, like we said, Bhante Sathi, and the people who are more difficult to work with, and you don't want to deal with them at all. And that's okay. Those individuals, off they go. You don't have to open the door for them. You don't have to crack the door open for them. You leave them alone. There is enough troll. People love social media, love to be on the internet because they're a bunch of trolls. They hide behind the screens and they don't even have the guts or the audacity to come to your face and say it. Most people don't. They go and hide. I don't. If I have to say something, I will say it in your face and that's it. I'm not going to go on social media and spew poison and venom in there. I just have to say what I had to say and I walk away if necessary. So like I said to her, why don't you do that? And you don't have to say that to your husband or to anybody else. And if this become novel, become more public and people like it, then you can reveal who you are. You don't have to feel you have to hide. If your desire is this, don't be envious of people who write or do podcasts. Do it. Like the commercial Nike, just do it. That is it. Just do it. The life of transformation is taking our fears, transform them to something magical. It's not easy to start your business for most people because it's scary. It's a big unknown. Yes, if you're fresh from high school and you do your things and you're used to, that's great. But for others, stepping in and have a desire to have that, maybe because of the environment you've been in, it's not allowed or it never, be entrepreneurial wasn't something that was wide open. And that's what people need to realize. So having the faith, and that's what I say to people, live your life to the fullest. If you have something that is so close to your heart, start it as a gig. Start it on the side. Don't quit your job. Start it on the side and see what you can do with it and run with it. And you know what? When you start it on the side, you will enjoy it better than if you just said, I quit my job, I'm going to start this. No, you don't. Just enjoy it. So back to layoff, it can give you an opportunity to go to school, change the direction where you want to go, do your own business, find a temporary job. And as I said, I love the temporary job, the contract job, because that opens the door as well. People can see how you work. And as I said, the people that I know who were contractors, most of them got hired. Why? Because the people, they watch them, watch them working and really appreciate the work, appreciate the person, fit in, everything worked fine. Some big company do the 90-day probation or whatever, which is within 90 days they decide if they want you to stay or you stay seasonal or whatever the deal is. Well, this is a great way to see how people are working. If they see you're a hard worker, they will hire you. They will give you the offer. Or they will extend the contract until they can hire you, actually. So think about different options you have that will be able to transform your life to the fullest. So think about it, because this is one of the biggest things we should be able to think and do. So this was our podcast for today. This is the last one of the week. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about next week, but hey, who knows? Universe always has something interesting to say. So all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.